Hey, it's John from 9142 Props and Armory, and the question of the day is, why the hell am I in my pajamas? Well, there's a reason for it, and why are we not in the normal location? We're not in the workshop. I need more space today. This weekend I'm going to Wizard World Chicago Comic Con, and it's been a couple of years since I have brought out an old friend at a major convention. And because I'm going to do it, and it's been a few months since the last time that I brought out this old friend of mine, I wanted to drag everything out and check it out and make sure that everything's good. So I figured it was a good time to go ahead and just show off something that I've done and something that will be part of the channel going forward down the road, because there will be some more projects that I want to do related to this build that I did about 7 years ago now. So if the t-shirt doesn't quite give it away yet for you, today we're going to be taking a look at my Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader that I built myself with a couple of parts purchased elsewhere, but I did all the work myself. People spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do a Darth Vader, to bring it up to screen accurate standards, or as close to screen accurate as you could. Mine is not a perfect Vader by any means. However, it is and has allowed me to be a member of the 501st Legion for many years now, about 7 years now. And this suit has been out at a lot of different things. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to suit up. We'll talk a little bit about the pieces and give you a good look at a Darth Vader, what it's like to put one on and wear one. All right, there are a lot of parts to Vader. The Vader costume is very, very uncomfortable for long periods of time, and it is heavy. My costume, as it is, as I'm going to show you right now, weighs about 30 to 35 pounds. David Prowse, who played Darth Vader, was about my height, about 6'7". I weigh about 210, 215 pounds. I'm a pretty slender guy. Dave was a championship weightlifter in England. He was a massive, massive dude. So I got to cheat a little bit with some of the parts of the costume. I got the height, but I need a little bit more this way. So let's take a look at everything. Let's get started. And it all starts when we dress with the pants. Now I did a couple things to address heat on here, and they are kind of unfinished at this point. I just haven't gotten around to doing them. However, the way that it is now does serve the purpose. And what I did is I cut vents out in the back, which I'm going to put a mesh on. But as they are right now, they are unfinished, and feel free to make assless chaps jokes right now if you really are so inclined. And the greaves here are just held on. There is elastic cord down at the bottom here, and then there's elastic cord with a buckle at the top to keep the greave in place with the boots. And the nice thing about it is with Vader is you have a lot of capes going on, so the backside of these things, and it doesn't have to look perfect. You don't have to have a beautiful back to these, because no one's ever going to see them anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, waist down, we're in pretty good shape. All right, next, and this is kind of where we get into some of the cheating here, is the upper portion of the undersuit, which again is quilted. It is a black leather substitute, and does the job, but however, synthetic leather is significantly hotter and more uncomfortable than regular leather is. And the cheating here that happens, and that's going on with this undersuit, is that I have padding in the chest and in the shoulders here to give me a little bit more of the musculature that I do not have. So we get those padding in there, makes my chest a little bit bigger, my shoulders a little bit broader, and it makes things look a little bit more in scale and proper. And one thing about my Vader, when I made it, is my intention was that I could always put it on and get suited up without the help of anybody else. Make sure that you can make it and you build it so that you can put it on yourself. It just makes your life a lot more easy. All right, so we got undersuit, we got boots, we've got greaves on. Next, we're going to get the chest box put on. And the chest box is something that I will be upgrading here and doing new ones, because I've actually started making some of these for other Vaders. And this original one I built, that was all me. This is all wood, and all the individual components were I sculpted, by hand and through sanding and everything. All the individual parts. Then I made molds of everything. The chest rods, the rods that are on the chest box here, are all aluminum. They're turned aluminum. Some of this stuff went over to. It's a benefit of having a father who's a machinist and a mold maker, and has been forever, that I got to go over and get access to his shop every now and then when doing things like this. He helped me machine and do the knurling on all these rods and everything like that. Now I can design it up in a CAD program, and I can print it on a resin printer and go from design to finished product in a couple hours. So there's been a lot of changes, definitely, and that's part of the reason why I want to go ahead and start upgrading this guy, just because it's kind of showing its age. And plus, I think as a builder, I've come quite a long way since I originally did this too, so that's another big part of it as well. So we have straps on here. We have a strap on the back. It's leather to keep that in place. All right, chest box is in place. The blink sequence on there is not working right now. I'm actually going to do another one, and that'll be something else I do as part of this upgrade series on my Vader, is to do a simple Arduino project with that, so we can set that up, and we'll put out the sketch for that. So anybody who wants to go ahead and do their own too can go ahead and build their own if they'd like. Or I can build some of them and put them up in the Etsy shop if somebody wants to get one that's done already and don't want to go through the hassle or the fun of making one themselves. All right, so cod pieces on. This is another thing that needs to be upgraded severely. It is definitely showing its age, but it does the job and it gives the appearance. So there is that. All right, next we get into more of the fun sewing parts of the build, the under tunic here. And as you can see, the layers start to hide a lot of the stuff. When you look at the back, all the issues with the back of the legs being a little bit weird and not finished and perfect looking disappear very, very quickly. Next layer is the belt. Belt was another thing that I did. This was all a scratch build. The one thing I had a bear of a time finding when I was building this was the belt itself. I don't know why I couldn't find a belt that was, approximately the right width, but I just couldn't find one here that wasn't a small fortune at the time. And oddly enough, we were on a trip visiting family over in Italy and went to a street market there. We were doing some shopping and whatnot, and I found the belt that's on here at a street market in Italy for about $10. And I ended up buying that and bringing that home. So I was on vacation and I found part of the costume as well. A lot of this, and a lot of wearing this kind of costume, this Vader costume, or other things that are similar to it, is just really in the placement of things and how things set and how they are in relationship with each other. Because if your belt is off, you know, kind of off to the side, or it's up too high, or the chest box is too high or too low, it really throws off the look of and the proportion of everything. One thing we want to make sure we get on and get hung up on the belt there. Yeah, it's a little bright. There's a lightsaber. The lightsaber is a Master Replicas. One that I got that was available in stores, and some of them are still available in stores. They used to not come with a removable blade, but I converted this one with a brighter LED in there and changed the blade out so that I can take the blade off. And the cape is a 3/4 circle. It has an inner liner. It has an outer layer. It's made up of multiple panels and a 3/4 circle that has a diameter or a radius, basically, of over 6 feet to fit properly on me. It took a lot of fabric to do this. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I want to say all said and done for the cape, there was 12 or 16 yards that I ended up using to sew this cape. And it weighs about 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds. And it could have been heavier. I debated doing wool for it, but again, at the end of the day, I was trying to do a relatively low-cost build. And I think all said and done with this Vader build, I spent about $600, I think, in total to build this, which is pretty crazy. You know, you might be watching and say, "Wow, $600 for a costume." Well, some people spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get a Vader costume. But it's a journey, definitely, to build one. This was about 1.5 years of time, on and off to do so. Chest armor is fiberglass. I did originally make a set of chest armor for it, which was passable, but I ended up getting a really good deal on a raw kit of this, which I got and painted and finished up because it just looked better than what my skill set at the time allowed me to be able to make. So we got basically all of this is ready and good to go. So we have more or less, you know, the costume is good to go. So I'm going to throw on the mask, show you what it looks like with the helmet on. A couple things about the helmet. This one is my, you know, my kind of daily wear type of helmet. Okay, it is the Ruby Supreme molded version that came out and still available in places now and has been for a long time. I did a lot of modifications to it as far as changing the look of things, the angle of things, the paint on there, stuff with the internals and details and that kind of stuff. I have another one. I have a fiberglass one that I will finish up and will become part of this in the not too distant future. That a local Garrison mate was very nice enough who had it sitting around and said, "Hey, you know what? You could probably use this more than I can. I'll never be a Vader, so why don't you take it and finish it up?" I've had it for a long time, and I will finish it up. So we'll finish it up, and we'll do the video on that, painting this and painting the helmet process involved in that, so that you can see that if you're interested. All right, so the helmet is 2 parts. You have dome, and then you have essentially the mask portion itself. There's a couple of additions to this, and depending on the time of year or type of event that I'm doing, I have different fan configurations that I use in here. Most of the time I have a fan up at the top here that allows to either pull air in or pull air out. And sometimes I have a much larger fan that I'll wear that'll be on the inside here that moves a bigger volume of air if it's going to be a hot event or outside or a longer term type of thing. Only, so let's position things where I can find them. Hopefully I'll be able to see the monitor well enough that I can keep an eye on what's going on and I won't have everything too out of place. All right, there it is. Everything is on, in place more or less, not perfectly all positioned, but just so you can take a look and see everything all together and get hopefully what will be a decent look at the costume. There is a good look at a screen accurate as possible given my skills. 7 years ago, Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back. And really this costume is the reason that I'm doing this stuff in the first place, and it all started with this helmet that my wife bought for me for my birthday 8 years ago now? Maybe it's 9. I don't know, but it was a while ago. And getting this started me down the path of how do I make this thing that looked kind of crappy look better, and it brought me to the 501st, and it brought me to doing the whole costume, and kind of the rest is history. So without this, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now, or a lot of the other stuff I'm doing, so pretty cool. So if you make it to this point in the video, hon, would thank you. I've made a lot of good friends. I've had a lot of really cool experiences. I've thrown out first pitches at Major League Baseball games. I held the World Series trophy a couple months ago. I've been in parades on television and done all kinds of events and helped raise money for all kinds of charities, done hospital visits, all kinds of, had really cool experiences because of this thing right here. So that's a look at my Darth Vader costume. I'm going to suit up on it. If you have any questions on it, comment down below. Hit me up on Twitter. Whatever you need to do, I'll do my best to get you answers on those things. If you want to see more about Darth Vader and this costume and upgrading it, let me know down below too. Please feel free to go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so that you get to see when new stuff is coming out. I'll have some links down below with some more information about where you can find out more about the 501st Legion, and also find out more about the 501st Sith Lords forums, which is by far the definitive location to get a ton of information on building one of these costumes. Other resources are out there. The RPF is a great place as well, but it's just some informational stuff. So it's John. It's 9142 Props and Armory. I will be out this weekend at Chicago Comic-Con, Wizard World Chicago Comic-Con, wearing this. If you happen to see this and you see me, I'm hard to miss. I'm almost 7 feet tall in my Darth Vader costume. Just look for the biggest and blackest dude there. And usually the guy with a bunch of people surrounding them, taking pictures. It's probably going to be me. So I hope to see you there. Have a great week. And I will see you all later on.